Hi, everybody. My name's Laura Atwell. I'm the Chief Development Officer at an organization called Catholic Guardian based here in New York. We focus on foster care. We've done a lot with the separated children at the border over the last couple months. But I'm here to talk a little bit today about storytelling and how that impacts organizations and your donors. So you may have seen articles over the last couple weeks that went around some of the philanthropy trades that asked donors if they could give to just one organization, what would they support? And donors, 54% of them selected one out of only 20 charities to support. So that's pretty amazing. And they were some of the bigger players in the philanthropy space. So they were the American Red Cross, they were Wounded Warrior Project, they were Doctors Without Borders, they were Planned Parenthood. But the three most commonly cited reasons for their wanting to support these organizations were impact, trust, and a personal connection. Now, you can't always have a personal connection, right? But you can ensure that you build trust and that you can show people that you will be good stewards of their philanthropic investment, and you can show impact. So if we can show impact and we can ignite action by strategic storytelling, we can help raise money. So can we just show the first video?
I was a junior in high school as I watched my mother.
Can you turn it up?
7 years, 2 tours in Iraq later, PTSD crept into my life. An unauthorized absence and an other than honorable discharge, I went home. Lost and full of anger, a bottle of bourbon, a case of beer, I was numb. I blamed the Marines, my family, myself. I destroyed relationships. Then Sam committed suicide, and my narrative changed. He loved the show How I Met Your Mother. Barney had this line: "When I'm sad, I stop being sad and be awesome instead." Sam would have smacked me around and told me to pick myself up, so I deployed with Team Rubicon to Hurricane Sandy in his honor. I was angry and distant, but nobody held that against me. I worked hard. The cuts and scrapes from broken wood and shingles covered me, while uncovering me at the same time. A light began to flicker inside. Moore, Oklahoma was struck by a tornado. I deployed, I served, I led again. Team Rubicon was helping me be a better me, helping me find I had more to give. I was a leader again. When I enlisted, somebody had to do it, so why not me? I feel the same way with disasters. Somebody has to do this. I have the capabilities, so why not me? Team Rubicon made me feel capable and built on a foundation of service I already had to impact others' lives. I continue to remember Sam through my service. He would have loved Team Rubicon, and he would have beat me out there with those responses, and probably been one of our most active members. I'm still human. I'm never going to not have rough edges, but Team Rubicon helps sand them down as much as possible. I don't need to know myself and my feelings. I enjoy them now. I hold my kid, and I feel my heart start to race. I've stopped being sad. Instead, I go and be awesome. For Sam.
So storytelling is powerful, and this is based actually on science. This is not something I'm standing up here making up because it kind of fits the narrative. Dr. Paul Zak, who is the director of the Center for Neuroeconomics at Claremont University, has been studying the power of storytelling and the effect it has on our brains. So when we listen to stories, parts of our brain actually light up. And there's increased levels of cortisol, which is one of the things that makes us pay attention, as well as increased levels of oxytocin, not OxyContin, oxytocin. And oxytocin, he calls sort of the moral molecule. And what that is that is part of us that helps build trust, it helps bond, and it helps give empathy. So if we want to fast track people giving to our organizations and give their time and their treasure to us, we have to get better at storytelling. We have to create a framework for delivering complicated information in a way that gets a person's attention and grabs their emotion. A lot of times when we talk about impact, right, we're talking about facts and figures. How many people did we provide housing for? How many people did we help during a disaster? How much cubic feet of stuff did we rip out of a house during a disaster? How many people did we clothe? How many meals did we serve? And that's all important. But what's interesting is Carnegie Mellon a couple years ago did a study looking at Save the Children and their direct mail appeals and what the return on investment was. So they did one appeal that was really statistically driven. They did another appeal where they told the story of 7-year-old girl, Robia, who lived in Mali. The ROI on the return on investment on the story about the little girl was 2 times more impactful, okay? So when we talk about statistics, our brain actually shifts. We become more analytical. And the analytical side of us doesn't get emotional, right? So no oxytocin. Stories are sticky, and they get to us on that emotional level, which gets us to open up our hearts and open up our wallets. So it's really important for organizations to develop a culture of storytelling. And I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but it really, really works. So Team Rubicon, the video I just showed you, is an organization I used to work for. I just left to take this new job 2 months ago. So they were really, really good at storytelling, as you can see, to the point that when they first started out 7 years ago, this is really where they made their investment, right? They invested in marketing and communications. They invested in a videographer. They invested in storytelling, all before ever hiring their first fundraiser, which was me. So I do think that, they should have invested in the fundraiser a little earlier, but having great stories really did a wonderful thing. It really helped undergird what we were trying to do on the development side of the house. So having those stories to be able to show people, to show the impact of the programs and the services we were doing, not only helping veterans, but helping people during a disaster, which somehow seemed really complicated to a lot of people in CSR. By showing it, it was really easy to explain. Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, just a couple of takeaways. You can't substitute slogans for storytelling. So it's not your mission statement. It's not the history of your organization. It's not a sales pitch. It's a story. Take your listener on a journey, right? Get them emotionally involved. At the end of the day, that is what gets people to open up their hearts and open up their wallets. If you want to catch me later, I'm happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
Thank you.